Hello, my brick family, and welcome back to the channel. And today we have yet another JoyToy and Warhammer collaboration unboxing and review video going on. This time, it's going to be something big, something mechanical, but yet something very stealthy that we're going to be reviewing, at least in game. And what we are reviewing is the Invictor Tactical Warsuit. I finally got this big, huge honking box from Games Workshop, and I am very, very excited to delve into this box with you all so we can have a nice, unfiltered review and a genuine reaction that comes from me. So, again, I am super hyped about this because this is the only vehicle that has been produced by any of the action figure makers like JoyToy or McFarlane. So obviously this is the box, and it's a very, very large box compared to, let's just say, the standard Space Marine one, which is not a small box, but it is also fairly small compared to the Invictor Warsuit box, which tells me that the scale is going to be pretty accurate and pretty awesome. It would be pretty cool if it actually had armaments that you could be able to switch out, but I highly doubt JoyToy actually put this feature inside of it, such as compared to, let's just say, the Blood Angels, Death Company Intercessors, or the Incursors, where you can swap weapons in and out, but I don't think these kind of models do. So anyways, without further ado, my brick family, let's jump right into that review.
All right, folks. It's time for the unboxing of the Invictor Warsuit. I apologize that I'm not able to get this thing in the full field of view because this thing is so huge. But without further ado, let's get this thing open so we can see what's inside, so we can review it and see what's up with it. Open this box up and see what is inside. Okay, so what's inside is a bunch of styrofoam layers, and let's see what in these layers, what it entails. Okay, so it looks like there is some assembly that is required over here. So you have bolt carbine that the pilot uses, then you have the two legs, backpack with the pilot, I suppose some big antennae for the Warsuit. This is the heavy bolt gun. This is probably a heavy bolt pistol. And then you have the pilot of the Invictor Warsuit. And then you can see underneath, you have the Warsuit itself. And it is a very, very sizable model. So what we're going to do is then remove the legs from the styrofoam. And remove the heavy bolter. We're going to have our pilot use the bolt carbine. Free the pilot as well. And we'll take a look at him a little bit more closely. And free the pilot. Grab the backpack. And then finally open up the antennae for the Warsuit. Apparently this peg goes into this hole over here, so let's do that. It fits in pretty snugly. We're going to do this for the right leg, as you see here. So the longer one appears that it goes on this side, and the shorter one goes on the left side over here. All right, let's take a look at this massive model. Holy cow, I can see exactly why this cost $150. Mainly because there is so much involved over here, and it is huge. So over here, you have the Fragstorm grenade launcher that comes with the model. And looks like the model is highlighted, which is good. You can see some contrast and difference from the plain blue of the Ultramarines and then the white highlights that allow the raised edges to pop, which is good. I know that I said for the Reavers as well as the other Phobos armor Marines, they don't seem to have this pop over here, which is nice to see that JoyToy has actually put that in. All right, and then you have the cage in which the pilot sits in, and it appears that the cage, it doesn't really have a locking mechanism, but you can feel that the hinges are very solid up here, and it feels like it doesn't really lock into place, but it kind of does, just because the hinge feels so heavy. So you can see the cockpit of the Warsuit, and it is obviously black, but as I said before, it's nice that JoyToy put the highlights on the cockpit seat. And then you have other lights and stuff over here. The lights are not highlighted that much. They look very flat. There's no other gemming that you would normally see when you're actually painting the model itself. And then you have, I suppose, the steering mechanism, because this is the joystick in which the pilot moves the Invictor Warsuit, and this is probably something similar to that. So over here, we have the twin iron hail heavy stubbers. And this is actually really cool because you can see some weathering going on over here. It's not just a regular flat black. There is a gunmetal kind of sheen that you see, which gives the gun a lot more character than I normally would see. And then you could see the magazine hanging over here with the bullets being fed into the stubber itself, which is a very cool touch. There seems to be some painting issues over here, but what the heck do you expect though? This is something that a machine did, so there's going to be some errors here and there. But you can see that there is a lot of character with the Iron Hill heavy stubbers. And then moving on to the Invictor fist, which is basically a fancy power fist. You can hear that this thing is articulated, and you can lock the joint into place so that it can hold a specific position. And as you can see, I am manipulating the Invictor's fist's fingers, and it looks like you can articulate this in 360 degrees over here. And then with the fingers itself, it looks like you are not able to articulate the individual fingers and rotate them, is what I'm trying to say. But you at least are able to move these fingers in and out to make a fist kind of shape. So again, you see a ton of highlights, which is really great. I like it when the models are highlighted like this. There is a lot more character and a lot more pop. It appears that you have some shading going on, which is weird. You would normally not find shading on a shoulder pad. That's where all the highlights go, because that's where the light hits the model. However, it is what it is, and it's really cool in my opinion. So on the other side, you have the twin iron hail autocannon over here. And as I said, this is not just your plain flat black. It's been painted a silver color to add more pop. And you can see over here, there is a ton of detail going on over here. And there's a little overspray over here. The skull bronze or gold color has kind of bled onto the gun itself, but no matter. It looks like down here you're able to see the wiring to make the autocannon fire. And as you can hear, it is the same thing as the other side. You can manipulate this back and forth, and you can also articulate the autocannon out such as this, and you can hear the clicks obviously. So moving on, you have obviously the legs. It is a fully functional leg, and I'm sure that it also clicks, as you can hear, which has full, I don't know if it actually has full mobility, but it has a decent amount of mobility so that you can pose it. I'll have to admit to you, this leg that I'm holding right here, is a little hard to manipulate, and I'm afraid that I'm going to break something, while the other leg seems to click into place a little bit better. So I'm a little hesitant to kind of play with this leg right now because I'm not too sure how that's going to end up. So, wow, this thing is large and very impressive. Like I said, it's hard for me to actually put this in the field of view for the camera. The Warsuit is probably 3 times bigger than the model itself. So, yeah, this this is a pretty sizable thing, and I'm very impressed with it. So let's take a look at this gigantic heavy bolter here. So this looks like, again, it could be wielded by a giant, and there are small issues, I suppose. The brushing is a little bit rough with the silver over here, but it's not anything to bother me on the model. And then the highlighting is a little bit weak over here, and it's kind of messy, to be honest, out here. Not exactly sure why. I would have probably just preferred this to be a non-highlighted model, but you can tell over here there's some whiting issues. Well, looks like I just rubbed it off. All right, I guess these aren't highlights. Maybe they're just leftover residue. You do see some overspray and some issues over here. One side appears to be a little bit more silver than the other side over here. However, again, this is a very excellent, accurate representation. So let's take a look at the Phobos Armored Marine. It appears that the backpacks, or the extra packs, might have been slightly mixed up, because it doesn't really make any sense to have a holster or a pistol's handle face out. You usually have it facing this way, so this looks a little bit more natural. And then you have a, again, highly detailed model. It's a little bit rough with regards to the highlights, but I actually do appreciate the highlights being here. It also appears that there's some shading going on in the thigh area region, and then obviously highlights between the armor plating. Let's take a look at the head itself to see how good it is in terms of detail. The head, I'll be honest with you, is a little rough. As you can see here, there is a bit of overspray from the silver onto the blue, and the painting looks a little bit rough over here, with the white being a very dirty looking color. There's some overspray with the red lenses over here, but I guess from a distance it's nothing to really bother me, I suppose. These aren't painted models that you would find at a competition. These are obviously action figures, so I can't be too critical about things. And this is the backpack for the Phobos Armored Driver, and I actually don't think that he's supposed to wear this when he's actually driving the Warsuit. And finally, let's put the pilot inside of the cockpit to see how this one looks. So apparently you're supposed to lose your pack when you do that. Well, I kind of forgot because it's been a long time since I built an Invictor Warsuit that this part can come down, which probably will make positioning the pilot a lot easier. And then you are supposed to close this part. And then finally, you're supposed to close the top of this thing off, and make sure you don't crush the model inside. Everything fits, kind of. Okay, looks like here everything's locked into place. That's my review of this big, huge, gigantic, hulking piece of machinery, folks. I am actually very staggered by the sheer size of this model. It's literally the biggest Warhammer piece that I actually own, and frankly, I'm very impressed with the size and the detail of this model. Do I think it's worth $150 for it? Yeah. There is a lot of material here. There's a lot of attention and care focusing on the detail over here. Yes, there are some issues with oversprays, but I mean, this is a very, very impressive model. and I am looking forward to the rest of the stuff that JoyToy is going to be releasing. I know for a fact that the Redemptor Dreadnought is supposed to be coming out, and I'm going to guess that the Redemptor Dreadnought is going to be the same size as this thing. And I know that there's going to be regular Dreadnoughts that are probably going to be like, you know, come up to here. But we'll have a size comparison when those items get released. So this is Brews and Studs, and I hope you guys enjoy this review. Be sure to tune in to all my reviews. There's going to be a heck of a lot more that's going to be coming. So I'll see you guys all in the next one.